Welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Your host, Jill Hart, the Coach's Alchemist. Couldn't be more excited to have you join us today. On this podcast, we celebrate the champions of change, the up-and-coming life, health and transformational coaches who are fearlessly stepping forward to make a difference in the world. Get ready for inspiring stories, practical tips, and powerful moments that will motivate you to make a positive change in your life and those around you. We're happy to have you join us on this incredible journey as we dive into the world of life, health, and transformational coaches who are lighting up the path towards a better tomorrow.
Hi, and welcome to the New World Order Showcase Podcast. Today we are speaking with Maylene May. She is a business psychic. She helps women build Facebook communities, and she's a business coach for spiritual entrepreneurs. Welcome, Maylene. We're so glad to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much, Jill. I'm so honored to be here with you and your audience, and so excited for this podcast and YouTube video.
It should be fun. So before the show, we were talking a little bit about what it is that you do and about women and money.
Yes, our favorite topic, one of my favorite topics.
So let's revisit that subject for a second. What are your thoughts on women and making money?
So I was raised with two moms, a biological mom and a stepmom. And one thing I realized, which I feel terrible for, is they never made enough money or their own money, and they always depended on men. But they were also raised in a completely different time. So I started selling like sweets on the school bus from the age of 10 and always wanting to be independent, which is why I study so much. And I definitely believe, like in my soul, that women do need to make more money. One, we do spend a lot more on products. If you just look at our face regime, hair, everything. But more importantly, because we're such nurturing people and we're such givers. We love to give, we love to nurture, we love to take care of things. So if we have more money, it stands to reason that we're going to take care of more people and help more people. So I definitely want more women making more money and tapping into their spiritual gifts, because we're all spiritual people.
I was thinking about that this morning when I was walking with my husband. We have a new puppy, and I have to carry him half the way, and I'm old, and it's like a whole new exercise routine for me. My arms are so sore from carrying him around because he can't get down the stairs to get out the dog door, and he's too little to get out the dog door. So, and I was thinking about Fred and Ginger Astaire. Now, bear with me for a second. There's the old adage about, Fred Astaire gets all this credit for his dancing. Ginger did it all backwards in heels. So to me, that was women do 45% of the work in the world. Mm-hmm. And men want all the credit for doing a quarter of the work.
It's true.
Kind of plays back into your women need to make more money. Well, yeah, they need to make more money. They're doing more work too.
We are doing more work.
My husband actually carried the puppy for about a block and a half. I had been carrying him off and on for 2.5 miles.
Oh my goodness. Shame.
And that was kind of what stuck in my head. But I think that women are such nurturers, and you were talking about that too. You want to reshare what you shared with me about women being nurturers and not liking to charge for the things that they do?
Yeah. So first I want to say you're not old, and carrying your puppy is only going to give you like really nice muscular arms, and having a puppy is so cute. Going back to Fred Astaire and Ginger quickly, I think it's also women don't stand in the limelight. I mean, Ginger was probably dressed to the nines, shiniest outfit, looked amazing. And we were probably watching her more than him. But men get credited because they ask for it. And women want to go, I'm such a good person, I'm not going to ask for it. Because if I do ask for a compliment, or if I do ask someone to recognize me, then that means that I'm being selfish, or I want to steal the limelight, or I'm one of those forward people. And we were raised as children to speak softer, be more girly. Some cultures we raised even to be quieter than normal. So I do believe as women, we don't ask for more. We don't ask for more money in jobs. We don't ask for more money. When we work online, we don't ask for more money. And then we say we should charge our worth. But the thing is, most of us don't know what our worth is. And how do you measure your worth? You can't, because you could be worth, I mean, I would hate to put a number to how much we're worth. But I do believe that as women, we do need to charge what we feel is right for us. So if you feel like charging $1,000, that's great. If you're happy with it and you know you can bring the results for $1,000, then ask for it. But I think we don't charge because we don't ask. And we feel bad because we feel that we're more spiritual or more religious or better people. I was always taught as a child to be humble, and that if you're humble and you have less money, people will like you more. And you won't be seen as one of those people who have money and are not nice. So I've always been like quiet and humble. And in the past couple of years, I've started speaking out a lot more. So being humble's not the answer we need. We need to stand up and say, this is who I am. This is my brand. This is what I charge. And I'm proud of it. It's pride.
I agree to some extent that it's pride, but it's also when you charge more for your product or service, you're actually guaranteeing your client better results because they have more invested in it. When you don't pay anything, that's about what you value it for. And most people won't do free things. And most people will have a lot of excuses for not to do cheap things. You know, if you offer somebody something for $50 that you could have charged them $1,500 for, the same product, the person that paid $1,500 is going to get a result. They have enough invested that they're going to try harder. They're going to ask you for help. They're going to feel like you owe them something. And you do. You owe them the result that you promised them. Somebody that you charged, $20 or $30 or $50 for that same thing, they're going to feel like, maybe I shouldn't ask. Maybe it's all right if I don't really do this. Maybe it's okay if I don't really succeed.
It's true. And a lot of people buy things that I think the average is people buy so many courses, but only about 7% of people who buy courses actually do them, which is crazy. And you're right, we should charge from the get-go. You should start charging at least something. Also, you show up differently if you charge more. As the person coaching, you show up and you're like, I really want this person to get results. I'm going to be a little bit tougher on them, as opposed to selling a $20 workbook and then doing one-on-ones every single day for the week. Because by the end of the week, you're really tired and you've done all this hard work for $20.
Yeah. And nobody's benefiting then. You're not benefiting because it's not enough to live on. You're giving
you don't like what you're doing
stuff away. Yeah. And I think there's a way to give a lot of value in the marketplace for free. You should give a lot away for free so people understand what it is that you do, how you do it. But when it comes to implementing it, that's where you need to charge. And you need to be able to help them get amazing results quickly. And the faster you can help them get amazing results, the better your product is going to be thought of.
and then people leave you testimonials, and then you also don't feel resentment for charging less and showing up more. Because eventually when you give so much and you don't get what you feel you deserve back, you start resenting the clients, you start resenting your work, you start questioning if what you're doing is even worth it or helping anyone, because there's the resentment you've now put into something you loved and was so excited about.
Yeah, and that happens a lot where you're just showing up and you're doing like so much and you're not getting any feedback. And I think part of that has to do with who you're talking to. You know, you need to be talking to people that really want what you have to offer. And if people pay more or pay something, even if it's an email address, they're invested in it a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of having them, engaging them and keeping them engaged to the level where they finally ask you, can I work with you? Versus running around trying to beg people to work with you, because that doesn't really work either.
No, it doesn't. And we're not selling information. You don't just sell information. I don't. Because if people wanted information, they'll just buy more books or watch more YouTube videos. What you offer is your years of experience, everything you've learned, everything you've studied, and so much goes into the back end that I don't think a lot of people see, especially people starting out. They look for how little can I spend to make as much money as I can.
Yeah, that happens a lot. I've seen that so many times. And those aren't really the people that you want to be working with for the most part. The people that you want to be working with are the people that actually realize that there's something that they don't know, and they're willing to pay for information. Years ago, people used to just go to college, and you pay professors. Professors make really good money. I mean, relatively speaking, but you as a student are paying $50,000 a year to go to school to an institution who is providing you with information. And it's not even specific information unless you're like going to medical school. But even to get into medical school, you have to have 4 years of some other degree. So it's not like paying for coaching is a whole lot different than paying for a college education. It's just, maybe it's more like a trade school where you're getting specific information about things that are related to helping you do something better. And there's coaches for everything, really.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's a great thing. It's really why I do the show.
Because we can't teach everything ourselves to our clients. I had a client yesterday ask me for legal advice, and I was like, I live in a completely different country, but I know that we can find guest speakers for you. Because like you said, we can't teach absolutely everything. I know I've tried learning everything, and it's just too tiring. So yeah.
And if you stay in your lane, it's easier to explain to people what it is you do.
It's true. I have shiny object syndrome, and I realized in the past week that I do have shiny object syndrome, and it's so easy because there's so much online that grabs your attention. And so my thing is, we don't need more information. We don't need to follow every coach. We don't need to sign up for every single freebie there is. There's just too much. So I've taken a step back from just shiny object syndrome, and like you said, staying in your lane and just focusing on that.
Really, I think if I could give people one piece of advice, it's just to pick the thing that you're passionate about and do a lot of action and go forward and know what your offer is. Clearly know what your offer is and what result you're going to give people, but just stay focused. Ask yourself, when you get that shiny object syndrome rears its ugly head and you're like, oh, I'll just go over here and do that. Ask yourself, will this help me move the thing that I'm doing forward, or is this going to distract me? Really learning how to say no to anything that's going to distract you will give you more time and resources to push the thing that you're really passionate about forward. It's not about never buying any more courses or never joining any more programs. It's about making sure that the things that you are investing in are moving you forward towards being the best coach you can be in your lane. You know,
because a lot of the times we look at where someone is at their highest peak of their career and we go, I want to be there. And they have all of these qualifications and all of this experience. And then we think if we can just study it all. And the thing is, you need to actually go through it and experience it, which if you don't sign up with a coach early on, you realize a little too late in the game that you've tried to do everything yourself and your attention is everywhere. And so you're left with not a business, not a successful business, at least, just a lot of busyness. And we keep ourselves pretty busy as females because everything's trying to get our attention.
yeah,
and
and
most
if
women
you're
are more than just one thing. You know, you're like a mom and a wife and a girlfriend and so much.
a friend who has her husband was like, why can't you be as successful as I am? And she said, well, if I had a wife like me, I'd be successful too.
Yes. They say every wife needs their own wife to help them and support them.
It's true. Women and wives or moms or, you know, any of the other roles that we play in life, we have so many obligations that it's really hard to say no to, that really being driven and super focused on one thing is difficult. It's way more difficult than a man who has a wife or a girlfriend who, you know, even little things like doing the dishes and vacuuming the rug.
Yes.
I don't know. They just can't see it.
No, they can't. And
The
it's
dirt's
simple.
invisible to them.
It's like it hasn't crossed their mind at all. And for women, we're like, this, I need to put this on my shopping list. I need to put that on the to-do list. We need to plan someone's birthday and then we need to buy a birthday cake. And oh, I need to post on Instagram. We have like a million thoughts going on in our heads at any point in time. We do have so much going on.
You just like, and it's just in the course of life, you know, these things, this is the rhythm. This is the rhythm I live in. But men, for some reason, and maybe it's not all men, I'm not going to paint them all with this brush, but the men that I've known in my life, and I've known quite a few of them, they just like, just looking around, waiting for something to happen.
They've got their blinders on, though, focusing on what they need to focus on, like just their career. And that's their focus, where we don't have those blinders for us. And the other thing we try and do as women is we try and do everything perfectly. We want to be good at whether you mop the floor, wipe the table, and cook dinner. You want to have a 5-course dinner that tastes absolutely delicious in a spotless house. I don't know if you remember watching Desperate Housewives.
Oh, I didn't. I probably should.
There was the one housewife called Brie, and she was like perfect dinner, vacuum the carpets. And I was like, wow, that's goals.
I would like to have her for my wife. Thank you.
Me too. The house would be spotless. You'd have a 3-course dinner every night, perfect breakfast. Women definitely need the extra support.
My husband is learning to cook. I mean, it's only been 28 years, but he is learning to cook. He made me breakfast the other day. I was so excited.
Oh, nice.
He did the dishes.
That's a bonus. And when they do it, it's like a once-in-a-month event, and then you appreciate it so much. You're like, thank you, that was so good.
Once in a lifetime event.
And it probably tasted so good. You're like, why don't you cook every single morning or every Saturday morning?
Yeah. And he's starting to now. I mean, he's been a truck driver, so his idea of cooking was stick it in the microwave. But since he's been retired, he's learning to cook some things. And when he made me eggs for breakfast, it was just like, wow. You've
is so
arrived.
nice. It is so nice and so sweet. It's like going back to being romantic in your relationship when the guy was doing the cooking and the nice things in the honeymoon phase. So
Yeah,
so
he
sweet.
never did the cooking. He was pizza rolls was like the top tier thing that he made.
Pizza rolls are
And I, on
yummy.
the other hand, have been a cook for since I was a little kid. I have always loved cooking, and we cook exotic food all the time. And his palate is pretty bland. And I'm like, well, just macaroni and cheese or soup. Just dump it out of the can.
Yes, as long as it's not just a heated in the microwave, you can consider it a meal, a nutritious meal, not just any meal. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah.
Anyway, so how do you actually help people? What are you doing in your coaching program?
So first I focus on self-worth and confidence. So I've had a pretty traumatic upbringing, and I find that like I said, I have a biological mom and a stepmom, and it was very confusing when I was growing up because I'm half Asian and half British, and people like, I don't know what you are. So it's taken me a long time to go, okay, this is who I am. This is what I do. So what I help women with is understanding what is their self-worth without society, without anybody telling them, going back to that first memory where you decided on your identity. And the other thing as women is our identity changes so much so often. You're the teenager, then you're the girlfriend, then you're the fiance, then you're the mom, then you're the wife, then you're the wife and the mom, then you're a business owner, then you're a student. And I find that going through that change, women need support. So I love community. I'm always in Facebook groups and memberships, speaking to women about the changes, because we go through these identity changes, but we don't always realize that we need to before we get there. So I help women understand, build their self-worth and their confidence, because I do believe that you need genuine confidence to show up as who you are. And I use human design and astrology to help me, or help and explain to them, this is how you're born, this is who you are. I had a client today and she's a Gemini, and she said to me, people called her two-faced. And I'm like, for some reason, people think Geminis are two-faced, but they're not. They're just more adaptable. And she was like, wow, that's such a nice way to explain it. And it made her feel better. So as women, we get labeled things, or we label each other, or we label ourselves, because our thoughts are constantly going on and on. And when you have that one negative thought, it turns into another one and another one. So help women with self-worth, build their confidence, and say it's okay to be who you are. I had another client who was bipolar, and it was her biggest secret. She didn't want to let anyone know she was bipolar. And every time she went to a job, she thought they were judging her, or her boyfriends would break up with her like within 2 weeks. And I said, it's because you just aren't confident or saying, hi, I am bipolar. This is who I am. And then no one can take it away from you. No one can tease you. No one can judge you. Not that anyone should be judging her because she has a mental illness. But it's like, once you identify your weaknesses and you're like, this is it, your self-worth and your confidence, you're stronger, because no one can insult you, because you're like, yes, I know I'm very short, and my whole life I was like, people don't take me seriously because I'm short. But I'm like, I'm short, but I know a lot, and I study hard and I work hard, so it's not a bad thing. So taking your negatives, making it a strength. What is your confidence? What is your self-worth? And then I listen to your vision of what you want in life. Because we all have this idea and this vision, but we don't know how to put it into actionable steps. Because a lot of people will say, if you have a goal, go for it. But what does that mean? Does that mean showing up on Instagram every day? And there's so much information that it gets confusing, because we're like, okay, to start a business, I need to have a podcast and a YouTube and be on Instagram and be on Facebook, because there's so much to do that sometimes we need someone to just go, who are you and where do you want to show up? Don't worry about when the money's coming. Don't worry about where the clients will find you. Can we just start with you just showing up? Because everybody thinks when you start a business, you do your first live and 100 people pop up and everyone insults you. No, It doesn't. And I always go back to Tony Robbins. When he did his first seminars, he would go into an empty room and there was like one person who he said was like a hobo who came for like the donuts and the coffee. And here we're showing up online. We aren't renting a room. We aren't renting chairs, buying coffee or donuts for people that may or may not show up. So be confident, show up on whichever platform you want, just pick one and start.
Yeah, a lot of it is just get started.
Yes.
It's the hardest thing.
Right, it is, because we judge ourselves so much more than other people would. Like, nobody's judging you. And I always say this to people.
Nobody's going to find you for the first
exactly
little bit anyway. Who cares
and
if you
all the
mess it up?
successful people, 100%, and all the successful people like you, Jill, you're looking at other girls going, I wish the best for you. I hope you succeed. I want you to succeed. We all want you to succeed. We're never going, I'm more successful. I hope you never reach my level. Like, that's nothing I've heard anybody say.
Women are more about a cooperation than competition. They just want to lock arms and we all want to get to that goal line together. And I don't care if I have to push you forward. Just, we're going there, girl. You can get there first. It's okay.
And we don't have to be perfect and show up perfectly. You just have to show up, because there's always going to be something that we'll judge ourselves on. Not enough posting, not a pretty enough Instagram, not enough pictures of your face, makeup isn't perfect. And the truth is, as women, if we tell more women, and I said this to my first coach, I'm like, my goal is to impact 1 billion women and help them realize how special they are. My sister passed away 3 years ago, which is the most traumatic thing in my life. And I realized, because for the longest time, I was like, why am I alive? And I realized that I would not be alive. You would not be alive. Every single person who is alive has a purpose. We have a purpose. And it's not to be unhappy and miserable and judge ourselves. We got to find out what's our purpose and show up confidently, because someone out there is waiting for you to help them.
Yep. You got to shine your light, and so that the people that are meant to be attracted to you will find you. Because if you're hiding, they'll never find you. And you may be the thing that makes the whole difference in that person's life. And you don't know what that person's mission is. And they may need to find you so that they can accomplish their mission. I mean, although there are so many women in the world that have done amazing things, that there was a path for them to get there, and they met people along the way. They didn't just show up one day knowing everything that they knew. And I guarantee you, all of those women that have made it to the top, they're not like the woman in the Prada, the Devil Wears Prada. They're more like you and I, where I'll turn around and help the next person come forward. And, I just want everybody to be able to live a life that they were meant to live, because we were all meant to live a specific life. We came here with a mission, and I just want as many people to accomplish that mission as possible. So I think it just makes the world a better place, far more interesting.
More interesting, and people are happier. Women were meant to live in communities. We've always meant to be in communities, like in the caveman days, where women would go out together, pick berries, cook in the kitchen. Like, we're meant to talk to each other and open up and have stories and share experiences. It just makes our lives so much richer.
And help each other,
and help each other.
Elephants are like that. The males go off usually by themselves, but the women, it's a matriarchal society. They keep the kids and they wander around in groups. It's just like, it's so much like I think humans are supposed to be, but aren't. And the males come around once in a while, but mostly they just do their thing.
And I do believe that. I believe women are meant to be like together, and we are a force of nature. And we also need to respect nature because there's seasons for different things. So I know there was a stage where everybody was like, if you want to manifest your greatest life, you got to show up and be really, really happy. And then when you vibrate at this level, you'll just call in the perfect partner and whatever. And now everyone's saying, just be authentic. And I'm like, weren't we always being authentic? So yeah.
Yeah, I don't
It's hard.
think
It's
so,
hard to
because
be. It's hard to be authentic.
it's not, well, it's not convenient to be authentic, for one thing. Women's cycles are 28 days long, at least. So you're going to go through ups and downs.
Ups and
It's
downs.
just the way we are. Men's cycles are like 12 hours.
Yes. If that.
Awake, asleep.
They're hungry, they're awake, they've got like, and even when they do stress, they'll move past it very quickly. Whereas women, we will think about it a lot more. And sometimes I'll say, we need to just stop it. Write it down, tear it up, something. Just don't let that thought carry on. Because we can overthink anything to be like, oh, we could overthink so much. We really can. And it's not good for us.
And yes, I absolutely.
Sometimes we're our own worst enemy, especially if we judge ourselves. So yeah, that's why I believe women need to increase their self-worth. And I believe once you increase your self-worth, your net worth will increase because you will charge more, you'll show up more confidently, and you'll be like, this is who I am, this is what I charge, and I'm happy with it.
You have a little workbook called Ritual to Riches. I shouldn't say little. I don't know how big it is. It might be really big. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So I created this. So I love having a morning routine. And I know some people love morning routines and some people don't. And I don't believe that a morning routine has to be this very strict structure that you follow. But if you're a structured person, and in the beginning, I think if you're starting your business, it's same as if you're starting a weight loss program. You know, in the beginning, it's going to be hard, but you need some structure. So my mornings for me have structure. And that's where the workbook came from, that you need to wake up. You need to compliment yourself. You need time alone to go, okay, what does Maylene plan for today? Because, and I'm not a mom, but I've seen some moms where I've spoken about ritual to riches and they're like, having a child, I just don't have any rituals. I don't have any time for myself. So this is more a book just to give you ideas of what to do in the morning. Journaling, EFT tapping, waking up earlier, just spending time alone, meditating. And if we just spend a few minutes alone in the morning and you center yourself, I used to be a yoga teacher, and I always said to my students, take the yoga with you out into the day. So I believe in the morning, if you have that presence and that sense of self, and I'm going to show up today with this intention, you will show up that day with that intention. Your day will be planned, and we want to feel a little more in control of the rest of our day. And I feel like having rituals that you love. It doesn't have to be my rituals. It can be yours. Whatever makes you happier, more centered for the day helps. So yes.
I couldn't agree more. I do that often before I actually even get out of bed. I have a morning ritual, and if I do it before I get up, then I don't have all of the other things that my new puppy to be dealt with first thing. But then I also like to have time that's my own time. So I get up before everybody else. So I have an hour to two to do the things that I want to do before my day starts.
And in that moment when you're alone having your cup of coffee, if that's what you drink, don't you feel a sense of peace? And you just feel like your day, like things are just going to go right. Right?
Yeah, it gives yourself enough of a time to just like get your mind clear about the things that you want for the day, and just knowing what you want, your expectations, not the I have tos, but the expectations of it would be lovely if.
Yeah.
And then those things can just show up. They don't have to show up, but more often than not, if you think about them in the morning, they will show up because you'll be looking for them.
Yes, true. And I also believe in having a little bit of a night routine. You don't have to have much of a routine, but I do like meditating before I sleep. I've also read studies that say if you do your to-do list the night before you go to bed, you won't go to bed with all the thoughts in your head of what you do need to do. So instead of doing your to-do list first thing in the morning, do it before you go to bed, because then you won't get into bed and your mind isn't going, oh, wait, I forgot to do this. I better add that to the list tomorrow. And I should have done that, but I didn't. I must add it to the list. Just put your phone on airplane mode. Put it in another room. I put my phone out of my room. And yeah, studies show if you do your to-do list the night before, you go to bed with less thoughts of what you need to do. And then you don't wake up with anxiety.
Oh, that's a great tip.
Thank you.
Try that too.
I love rituals and routines. It's like one of my favorite things.
Yeah, I like rituals too. Rituals give you comfort in knowing how the punctuations in the day. They give you little breaks for something that's concrete that you can expect, but it leaves space for the unexpected to happen too, which I like.
That's lovely. I love it
So,
too.
what's the one thing you'd like to leave the audience with today, Maylene?
There's so much. The one thing I'd like to leave the audience with is really look at yourself and work on your self-worth, because at the end of the day, the biggest question I get asked is, how do I make more money? And you're only going to make more money when you feel like you deserve more money. So look at your self-worth and let's look at your net worth, because once your self-worth increases, your net worth increases. And at the same time, increase your network, because as women, we need network. So net worth, network, and self-worth are the three pillars that I firmly believe in.
Yes. And how can people get in touch with you to learn about these three pillars?
I am on Instagram mostly, so you can DM me on Instagram. It's Maylene_May_. And that's the best way to get a hold of me. If you just send me a DM or comment on one of my posts, I'll speak to you and send you a link to have a call with me or whatever. But yeah, mostly Instagram.
Perfect. And you are in South Africa, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
In South Africa.
That's kind of cool. I love that we can be international.
I love that too. And actually it was on my vision board when I started doing my vision boards after watching Oprah. I was like, I always wanted to have an international business, because I have like a nail salon and a lash salon, and I've always had, but I was like, and then the world opened up and it's incredible. And I think it's such an incredible opportunity for so many women to get out there and speak more. So build the confidence, and people feel like if they approach you, perhaps someone's watching this going, I don't know if I can approach Jill. She might say no to having me on her podcast or whatever. But if you don't try, you never know.
Yeah. If you don't ask, the answer is always no.
100%. This has been so nice, Jill.
Thank you so much for joining me, Maylene.
It's been such a pleasure and such an honor to be here. I'm so excited to meet you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another empowering episode of the You World Order Showcase podcast. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from our incredible life, health, and transformational coaches who are making a profound impact on the world. Remember, change begins with you, and you have the power to transform your life and the lives of others. If you want to take that next step and unlock your true potential, visit thecoachesalchemist.com, where you can find the 3 ways we can help you for free to spin your talent into gold with clarity, a system, and a plan. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an inspiring episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Your feedback means the world to us and helps us reach more people with our positive message. Stay connected with us on social media for updates, behind-the-scenes content, and upcoming guest announcements. You can find us on Facebook at the U World Order or simply visit thecoachesalchemist.com.